to another episode of Going Back to the Basics, where we're going to take exercises out of instructional manuals, instructional books, and walk through them together as if we're the student and see, how does it all turn out? Does it work? Does it not work? Of course, they're supposed to work. So, did we work or did we not work? I guess is the answer. Hope you enjoy it. We're going to try to do a lot of things, and I hope it's just about as fun to watch as it is for me to do, because it's fun to go back and, it's fun to go back to the basics. Enjoy. Alright guys, we're going to do ourselves a Back to the Basics project today. Nothing extremely tricky, but a pretty useful tool. Now this is from Blacksmithing, Basics for the Homestead by De La Ronde. Alright, and he has this project under the tools section he calls a Dogleg Awl. Alright, for punching holes in leather harness or clothing work, or starting small screws. This one's called Dogleg because he puts a little step in it, which in this process here, hopefully you can see. Alright, simple project and a useful tool for sure. And I do have some antler hanging around, so maybe we'll go ahead and follow right through with the antler. So it says draw one end of a rod down to a narrow point. He's using a square point, and then cut off about 3 inches or so on the hardy. Draw out the other end to a point, and then step opposite sides down to create a dog leg. And the idea here is that little dog leg will catch on the end of the antler so it doesn't drive into your hand. So we're going to do that. Nice thing I like about this little project is that we now have a good use for maybe a piece of rebar, round stock, square stock, almost anything will do. High carbon, mild steel I think would be just fine. But because a lot of us use a rebar, or we have rebar as a relatively inexpensive material, we're going to start off with that. So the first thing I'm going to do is you can either grind it or try to hammer out these ridges on the rebar. We don't want that there. So let me get it heated up, and that's what we'll do. Alright, again, depending on the stock that you use, you might not have to do what I'm doing right now, but I'm just going to get rid of these ridges in the rebar. Basically get me down to a round stock. And you can make this as large, as long as short as you'd like it to be. Just clean up some of those ridges. Now we've talked about drawing out the path. You can use the cross peen to do that. You can use over the horn to do that. Or you can drop it over the edge of your anvil, put in some curves that way, and do it whichever way you've adopted. Just kind of draw that out to a point and a bit of a rectangle at the same time. I'm going to start square, and then I'll worry about the rectangle. Go for, I don't know, an inch or two. You don't need it super long. Just draw that out to a point. Alright, we'll go a little bit farther with this. Once you get narrow enough, I like to start working from the point back in hopes that I don't end up with a split at the end. Again, just a couple inches of taper is what I'm after. Rotating my work, keeping everything as straight as possible. Hammer marks as clean as possible. And as square edge as possible, even if we're in a rectangle. Right, let's see if we can get this thing down where we want it on this end anyway. Of course, we can go to the grinder best we can now. Clean that up. And again, I don't mind this point being squarish, but at some point I like to flatten it out a little bit to give me a little more of a rectangular shape. Alright, at this point I'll start doing a transition into a rectangle without messing up my point too much. We do need to have a thick enough amount back here. The dog leg. I don't think that looks too bad. A little splitting on the end there. But you get that with rebar. Not so much with mild steel, but anything with a little bit of carbon in it. And you'll get that. Sound good? Next step he says about 3 inches or so, cut it off. We'll come back here. Oh, I don't know, about there. And we'll nip that off and turn around and put the second point in. Alright, following his instructions, we're going to go ahead and nip that off where we feel we want to. Let's see, right about there. Using a hot cut, or whatever method you use. He said a hot cut. There you have it. Half of that part's done. Use these narrow tongs I made in a previous video. We'll turn around and we'll start putting the point on the other end. So again, we're going to want to maintain the same rectangular orientation. So that our dog legs are perpendicular to each other. We're going to draw this out into a fine point that we will embed into an antler. We want to leave enough mass in this rectangular area here so we have room to put that dog leg in. This is nothing more than an offset. Heat, I think. In his drawings, he had the taper, or the length of taper on both sides about the same. Not sure that's critical, but we'll try to do the best we can with our choice and where we nipped it off. Again, I'm a little shorter, but I'm not concerned about that at all. But we'll just clean this up one more time. We're a little fatter on one side, which may actually be a good idea. So again, we're just going to go a little bit more through here. Get her cleaned up. And that's what we're going to call it. Now if we take a look at that versus this illustration, again his is drawn looking at this one right here, so that the tapers are about the same length apparently. And then our next step is for one side to drop it down over the edge of the anvil and then flip it over and drop the other side down, leaving that thick offset spot or dog leg. So I'm going to go ahead, let me just walk through this in my brain. We will go ahead and I'll drop it here, and then I'll turn it around and I'll drop it there. Look at his book. And he's hammering kind of half on, half off is what his illustration shows. But as we've learned, sometimes what's in the picture isn't always the technique to use. Alright, so half on, half off on a nice sharp spot. Alright, there's a bit of a dog leg start there. Work that taper out. And as sharp as possible, I bet you we want. Okay, and on this next dog leg, we're going to go the opposite way, half on, half off. Alright, so I spun the piece around, so now, oops, a little more in there. So now the opposite point is 2. I'd almost want to cool this off a little bit with some water just so I don't distort it, but we're going to drop this side down now. And there's our 2-step dog leg. And at this point we're going to start cleaning up and straightening everything else out. Hopefully we got enough to drop there to do what it is we're trying for it to do. So at this point I want the awl relatively straight, unless I want a curved awl. There's points in that. Again, it's whatever you're designing the tool for, that's what you're going to build it as. This one here I'm going to heat up just a little bit, just to kind of clean it up a little bit more. A lot of times I do more cleanup at a black heat, straightening at a red heat, and then black heat to help get rid of some of the hammer marks. I am raising my piece a little bit off the anvil to match the angle, so I'm not putting a little bit of a bow into it or a bend into it. We want that piece to be relatively straight. And there you have a couple of dog legs, which if we look at his illustration at the bottom here, alright, opposite of his. Let's see if we can flip it around without burning anybody. Okay, so that looks pretty good. We'll go ahead and just kind of clean this off. I don't know, what does he say? Opposite side. Doesn't say anything about cleaning it up. Of course, using old school methods, we'd probably clean it up on a file. I'll let Chandler going to throw it on the grinder quick just to get her cleaned up a little bit, and then we'll start thinking about what it takes to make that attachment to the antler. I got a few pieces of antler here. None of them are actually ideal, considering the length that I made on this. But what I'm looking for is wherever I cut the antler, that there's enough straight where this top point won't come out when I try to drill it out. And all of them are really, really close. I don't have anything extremely large nor straight at that point. This piece is pretty hot still. On the floor you go. On the floor you go because you're too hot. And I think I'm going to end up going with this, and even though it's got a bit of a curve to it, I think I can figure that out. So I need to nip this off perpendicular to the path that this spike can be. Now we can make that spike a little shorter, but we'll see what we can do. Maybe we can get lucky. Hopefully we don't come out the other side. This is still pulling down. Again, he says merely drill an undersized hole an inch or so into the handle material while one end of the awl is held in the vise. Drive the handle down onto the awl. Now I don't work with antler very often, and I'm really afraid if I were to just go in an inch and then try to drive the rest of that in, I'm really afraid that I'm going to split the antler. But if we do, we'll learn together, that's for sure. So let me get the antler cut on the bandsaw and get this thing cleaned up a little. Alright, and cutting the antler, I decided to leave a little bit of that button on there. I think that would be a good kind of thumb hole thing. And if I put the dog leg, the drop edge on the low side, I think that'll give me the best catch. And I'm thinking with that in mind, I can probably get that hole down in there the way I want it to be. So I'm going to think about that a little bit while I just kind of dress this up a little bit on the grinder. Now here's some things in the books that bother me. You know, he says drill an undersized hole, but if you look closely, he's either worked that hole with a file, or it certainly isn't undersized. As a matter of fact, it looks like a rectangular hole. So chances are he split a few in the process. We're going to follow his instructions. Little undersized hole. I don't know how well antler burns, and maybe we'll just try that. Drill an undersized hole and then just burn that thing in. Might be the best way. Let's try that. I don't know where you are. If I was backwards, I just screwed up. I just drilled a hole into the antler, and we're going to go ahead and try to burn in. See if this antler will burn in like wood does. Certainly do this in the forge, so even though I'm using the torch, I'm not going to call it cheating. I just let the torch go, or the forge go out. I certainly like the way it looks. It did well there. That damn hole drilled straight. I really wish I hadn't let my torch go, or my forge go out, but she seems to be going down. I like that. So, never too afraid to take a little modification from somebody's design. That's what we're going to end up doing, is burning it in. But just for shits and grins, oops, sorry for the language, just, which way was I? That way. You know, he said an inch. Let's just go ahead, let me get a wooden hammer. Following his idea, let me just see if I can hammer this in without it splitting. Of course, I should turn the dog leg to work to my advantage. I just think that antler's going to split. Seem to be split. So I'm quite impressed at how strong that antler is. So perhaps that's not a bad way to finish it off. Next question is, what does it take to get the thing out of here, Chandler? Alright, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to deviate from his instruction a little bit. And we're going to burn that in. Once I get this out, I'll be back. Right, I'm going to try to mount this sucker in here in a way that I hope represents the two dimensions that I want this hole to come in, without blowing out the side, which is what I would expect me to do, knowing Chandler. Because we got to go at least that far in, if not a little farther. Looks like we're going to blow out this side a little bit. Shim this back side up a little. And it looks good in that direction. If we start towards the back a little, I think we'll be alright. Let's see what we get. Oh, don't move. use that whole length plus some. We didn't blow out. So that makes Jenna happy. No blowouts on the sides. So, alright, I'm just setting up my orientation, how I think I want the awl to be. And it's going to be about like that. About like that. And we'll heat this sucker up. I'll be back when she's ready. Alright, I suspect this may take a couple of, what do I want it like this? A couple of heats to do. Alright, you just don't want to lose our orientation. Half tempted to drill a little bigger hole on this end. Let's go a couple more times. We're getting close. Smells nice. Would be nice too. Still got a ways to go. Still got a ways to go. I hope we're not going to come out the side here. Hopefully she'll burn off enough to come off. One more time anyway. I don't think I needed that spike nearly as long as I have it. Come on, you can come off. There you go. I'm half tempted to lose part of that spike. I don't think we need it there. Modification on the fly. I don't see an issue with it. Except if you break the awl, you could turn around and use the other side. Call it cheating, I don't care. Just go, let's see where we're at here. Let's see it, head it this way. Go one more time, see if I can get it in there. Now after making that modification, I probably should have put a point on that. There you go, she's down. She is down. Perfect. On that top dog leg, just like I planned. I'd like to take her off and cool her down, but I'm not sure I can. There we go, good. And we'll let that cool down, and that's it. Now you got a handle that we can either epoxy in or point it, what is it, pitch in. But it's going to be a tight snug. It's going to be a tight fit. I'm going to have to hammer it in once it's cool. Very, very cool. Now, while everything's cooling down, I'm just going to clean this antler off with a little bit of steel wool just to bring some of the white out. And then I think I might hit it with a torch just to darken it up a little bit. She's hot, I'll tell you. Maybe do something on this end. Maybe let's go ahead and let's see, I got this thing turned down low here. And I have an extension cord in this direction now. I'll lower it down. Lowest speed we got. And we'll see if I can do something here without burning it too much. just kind of cleaned the burn marks off the bottom of that and just rounded this off so it's a little more gentle in the hand. I'm going to go jump up. I won't take you with me. A couple of grits on sandpaper just to kind of polish that off. I think that'll look pretty. Feels good in the hand. I'll be right back. Alright, there you have it. One awl. Alright, maybe a little longer. I mean, again, it's your design. Handle looks great. I'm just going to go over on I'm going to do old school and take a file and just kind of bring this down to a sharper point, and then I'll come back and show you the finished product. Very, very cool. Hold on, a few more seconds. Oh heck, why don't I just take you with me, you know what I mean? I'll do it this way, lefty. Just, since it is a primitive tool, well, it's made in a primitive way. Spend a little time on it. I don't hand file much, that's for sure. There's no reason this couldn't be round. Got a pretty fine file here. Am I blocking your view? Of course I am. Sneak over here somewhere. Alright. Just the point I'm trying to get cleaned off. And sharpened, of course. I'll tell you, I wouldn't want to do an entire blade this way, nor would I want to do a sword this way, but sometimes when you get that file in your hand, it's relaxing. Especially if it's a decent one. I don't know if this is very good. That's about it. I'm sure. Well, that's what a difference. That spot needs a good cleaning. Get this thing right down to a point. Yep. Ooh, mama, that's sharp. Just a burr there. Hate to do that, but keep that burr off of there. One more time. There it is. That sucker's sharp. It surely is. Okay. Put this back the way I want it designed to be. Drive her home. A little farther than that with my wooden hammer. God, it's a pretty tool. That's it, all the way home, no cracks. Beautiful, I'll be back. Alright, let's see how this guy works. Hopefully I won't go through my fingers. Alright, so again, I left that button on for a little bit of a thumb hold. This is some buffalo suede. Probably need something to punch against, but oh my god, right through it. Oh, you didn't see, sorry. I just don't want to get my fingers. Alright, for putting your lacings in. Very, very cool. This is some heavier, I don't know, 5, 7, 8 pound stuff. I don't trust it because I'm going to get my finger. And there you go, right through it. Right. Not bad at all. You got that behind something, you know, like a block of wood or something to be punching through. Nice square hole. And again, you can You could make the thing round, but this was the exercise that he gave us. By the way, that injury's from something else. Not here. Today, but not here. Not at the shop. And there you have it. Alright, so we are in review Blacksmithing Basics for the Homestead by De La Ronde. Chapter 9, Tool Making and Awls. Alright, and we followed his recommendation mostly. I burnt the end of the awl into the handle. I did nip off the end, which I don't think I absolutely had to, but it was my choice, my tool, my choice. There's another one. Mini tool, make a tool, your choice. Found a nice little, I mean, it just fits perfectly in the hand. Alright, especially with that little thumb hole right there. So, and I didn't burn the antler. You could burn it to get some color, but this one had enough color, enough texture right on it. So that's where you go. Back to the basics. We practice some drawing out. We practice stepping. All right, and that's pretty much it. But a good tool, and people will buy these, especially leather workers, stuff like that. Especially with a historic value, that kind of thing. And I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Hopefully there'll be some more coming. Again, don't forget to go back to my channel and either donate through PayPal or through Patreon. Join my Patreon account. I put these videos up 3 days early for patrons, almost all my videos, and that money has certainly helped me find more time to make more videos. I know I've been gone for a little while, but trust me, if it wasn't for the money, I'd probably have to look for a job or something. So, hope you enjoyed it. Very, very cool. I enjoyed this one a lot, actually. One of my favorite things I've made so far. Take care. Appreciate your support. We'll catch you on the next one. Ciao.